this, we had to get it all done, obviously. With Venice, we have that week of time.
One of the things, the rendering, of putting together a full 70 minutes like that in Final Cut Pro, I had no idea it was going to take that long to render. And it's like 6 and 7 hours once you put your edit together to render it after you make corrections. It was unbelievable because we were used to, well, I was used to, I should say, was used to Venice. And it doesn't take that long to render once you get everything together. And this thing, I mean, that poor computer was just, it was struggling to get it down, so it was pretty interesting.
It's almost a full-length film, you know? I mean, you're 20 minutes away from a full-length film, you know? I mean, do you ever consider that? Do you think about making a film?
That's awesome. You know, I actually it's not out of the realm of possibility, but I think the 20 minutes for a web series is actually really, really good. And this was a lot of fun for us. And when we go to make the Grove, the series, we'll make 20-minute episodes. But this was a fun thing to do. It was a fun pilot to make. I think that's kind of where we are.
I'm going to ask Katie, if I can have your microphone for the audience questions. And let me say, well, if you've got a question, please raise your hand, and this is going to come to you. But I do have a question for you, Katie. You're like amazing. So would you like to take over the MC at maybe one of the other two venues the rest of the weekend? I'm loving this. Thank you so much for being on this panel. Can we give Katie a big round of applause?
Yeah, I have a question. Yes, and Katie is very amazing. You mentioned that we're talking about doing 20-minute episodes online rather than 6-minute episodes. 20 minutes. For those of us who have worked in broadcast television, we know that that's essentially a half-hour show on broadcast without the commercials. Recently, we've seen House of Cards show up on Netflix, all 13 episodes at the same time. How do you feel? I mean, really, I guess my question is, what is your take on the new delivery systems that are happening now? The way our content is king, and you said 6 minutes, people said that's not long enough anymore, we want 20 minutes, which demands more story, more character, more development. Be that as it may, what is your take on what our obligations are to meet the new criteria, which is essentially moving away from traditional delivery and becoming what it is, what we're seeing now, and we're kind of in that little gray area in between. But I think it's been really solidified by House of Cards and the fact that you've been essentially told you have to do at least 20 minutes in order to make it worth our time to watch.
With us, you know, I will roll out an 11-minute episode if those 11 minutes hold. I'm going to do what feels best in terms of what's right for the story. And our shows, our episodes ran from 11 minutes to 26 minutes. It just depended on what story was in that particular episode and what held. I think it's interesting with House of Cards, rolling out all 13 at once. I'm fascinated by it, and I want to see what kind of feedback they get. I don't know that much about it, honestly. But people will tell me it was too short. People will tell me it's too long. People will tell me they were bored out of their friggin' minds. People will tell me everything, and I love them for it.
Name.
I just want to ask a quick question. I looked up your Twitter there and I noticed you got about 38,000 followers on Twitter. How many subscribers do you have for Venice? And does that number, how does that add up compared to your 88,000 views? And if it's a little different, where do you think those other views are coming from?
I think because people don't have to pay for it, it's coming from a wider audience, the Grove. There's definitely the issue of the Garden Mall. And people just not wanting to go through the process of putting in their credit card and username and password and things like that. We have over 18,000 subscribers for Venice. It's, the way we rolled it out was it's a $9.99 subscription, and that doesn't change, and that hasn't changed from the very beginning. What we've laid into It's for the entire season. So the first episode is free, and then subsequent 11, you're paying basically under $1 per episode, right? But we added in the feature of pages where you can gift a friend, because some people just don't have the $9.99, or you can pay as much as you want, which is kind of what Radiohead did on, I think it was Amazon or iTunes, which one did it? So they can go in and they can pay $9.99, they can gift a friend, and then they can, or they can give us $25 and buy a t-shirt, or we have sponsorship packages going from $25 to $1,000. And, you know, I had one lady in 1 month donate $4,000. And you get a personal email from me, or you get a phone call, you get merchandise, and you get credit at the end of the show. And that's what that was. Those sponsors are gold members that paid that $1,000. So that's how we've been doing it.
We're going to have to wrap this up, but we want to thank you very much for coming and sharing your pros with us.
Thank you so much. And I get to talk with us.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Thanks you all.
Cynthia's got a workshop tomorrow at 1 o'clock on casting. Katie, tell us when your next screening is.
Oh, our next screening is for How We Got Away With It, which is John Lindstrom and Jeff Barry's film. I was a small part of producing that. It's tomorrow at the Douglas Theater at 6 o'clock. We really hope that you come. It's a wonderful film.
Thank y'all for being on this panel. I wanted to tell y'all two things. One, there's an after party in the library ballroom, and if you walk out of here, you can follow the crowd. Secondly, Crystal's doing a book signing at headquarters. So if you'll walk out the front door and take a left and another left, if you'd like her book and her signature, please go to headquarters and take care of that business. On behalf of the Macon Film Festival, thank you so much for coming, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.